Alright, so we're going to get into this right away. We're first going to be working on the object syncing. This is probably the easiest thing to do because all you have to do is just add components to something and you're done. So go ahead and make an object or whatever the hell you want to move for whatever reason. Reset the place it decided to put itself at because I don't know why. And then we need to add components to this. The first one needs to be, or doesn't need to be, but what you do want is object sync, and then go ahead and add in VRC pickup, and you're done. This is the continuous syncing of a VRC object. This will be synchronized to everyone. So we'll make anything in this will be a red material. To differentiate. Sorry, I'm not the smartest with words. And then we'll have another cube. Go ahead and duplicate this. The thing is we just won't have a VRG object sync on this. So remove component and duplicate that. Make this white. Or make it green actually, because why not? So not synced, synced. And we can go ahead and test this out. Alright, so now that we're loaded in, I'm gonna go ahead and move this object over here, and this one way over here. So I'm standing currently next to the not synced one. Or actually, I should probably stand over here next to the synced one. And I'm gonna go ahead and launch in another client. Alright, so as you can see, this one is next because it is synced. This one's reset into another position because this one's not synced. When I move this with my other screen, I'm going to take this away from you for now. As you can see, it's far away, it's further. If I move this one or throw it off, it's still there. It's not there until it respawns because of destroyed object, or it respawns because of VRCHAT. So that's how you go ahead and do the object syncing for pickups. You could do more stuff with this, with continuous Udon behaviors if you'd like to, but we'll go ahead and get into the next step. Alright, so this is when we go ahead and get into scripting. Fun, right? For me it is because I do this stuff pretty much all the time. We're gonna make a button to spawn in an object that will be global. So we'll spawn in this cube. And since this is going to be synced, do that. And then what we have to do here is create a script for this to be a trigger. So just go ahead and create a UDONSHARP script. We'll name it trigger sync. Okay, so we're going to work on continuous Udon behaviors first. So you don't have to change this, just keep it continuous. And then what you need to do next is add in your UDONSHARP compiled. And we're going to go ahead and start working on this. So of course, in order for this to actually start being a trigger is we need to public override interact. Any player can interact with this on when we're switching in between a continuous variable. We should check if the networking of the player who's clicking on it is owner. Or actually, we don't have to do that. We can do networking is owner. If I could spell it right, that would probably help a lot. Okay, is owner of a game object of this game object because we're interacting with it. If they aren't the owner, we'll set them as the owner then. So networking. And again, you can create a variable up here for networking if you want to, but you really don't need a variable for this. Set owner. We'll get the player. So how to get the player? Again, it's networking dot local player, and then other game object. Now, what's different between continuous manual syncing is continuous syncing. We send custom network events. So keep this in mind. When we create a method, it always has to be public when you're doing a send custom network event. Otherwise, it will not work. So send custom network event should autofill. We do it to all, and the event name will name turn on or off. All right. So basically, what this sets up for us now is we can change. Well, I guess I got to get further in to explain it more. So, okay. Send custom network event. This is a string, by the way. I would copy and paste it because it does have to be the same. Now we need a game object that we are changing. So that'll be game object. Change this. All right. So with this game object, if what we can do is change this dot set active, change this dot active self, and we'll make it the opposite like that, and we'll just call this in every time so we can turn it on and off. Now this will work for players who are already in, but not for players who have not joined because there's no request serialization. Requesting serialization is what networking is pretty much all about. Only deserialization runs for non-owners, so this is why we changed that. So when the player joins, all we want to do is that. So we should get a synced variable or Boolean variable. Sorry, don't do that. Udon synced bool is on, and then pretty much what this is gonna do, we can take this out, is on, then we'll have that changed for everyone. Then we'll do change this dot set active is on for the late joiners. And let me go through this just to see if this is all correct, which it looks to be. Go ahead and save that, and then go into Unity and let it compile. All right, so once we have that, click on your button, and it should have a, oh, what did I add in here already? Trigger sync. Okay, trigger sync, interaction, utilities. Where is our, oh, I don't think I made it public. Oops, wrong one. Don't pay attention to that. Yeah, make sure you have the object public. That's my fault. Okay, so we want to get the object that we're changing, which is cube3. These names are horrible. I know, but trust me, at least be somewhat considerate here to me, please. Whatever the interaction text can be, whatever the hell you want it to be. So this object synced. Let me go ahead and show you what a non-synced object will do for a player who only wants it to be local. So what we can do is create another object like that. However, we're gonna switch this out. We're gonna remove that. And we're gonna do create UDONSHARP trigger local. Okay, again, color differentiation. We'll do that. Okay. So now that you've already created the script, which is trigger local, another thing you can do if you really want to is you can game object. You can do a boolean that equals to the game object is active, but I mean, we already know that this game object is going to be active when we start, but that is an option if you want to change that. So again, we need a game object, and don't forget public game object. Change this. These are the best names, by the way. Fuck the Udon sync. We're not doing that shit this time. This is local. Oh, public. Override. Interact. Alright. And literally all you do is this. Change this dot set active to, instead of creating another variable, change this dot active self. We'll make it the opposite. And you're done. That's what a non-synced one looks like. And this is what a synced one looks like. Again, I'm going to go over this. When a player interacts, for the players that are already in this world, this will happen. For the players that late join, this will happen, because this is a continuous sync variable. And same goes for this. We'll be getting into manual variables after this one. Okay, so once you load in, I'm going to set both of these to false. Okay, and I forgot to add on the Udon behavior, didn't I? Yeah, again, brain damaged. Trigger local. We're changing this object. Okay. Okay, after messing up the first time and not adding the Udon behavior, I'm going to set both of these to false. Okay, why is that actually not? Oh, it's outlining. Keep in mind, not synced, synced. So this one should be gone. This one should still be on for the player once we join. Okay, so it did what we wanted it to. Now I'm going to go over the reason why this happens again. When we do a trigger sync on deserialization of when a player joins, will always fire on a continuous and manual as well as I believe, and this will always happen. Now that this is a boolean, this was set on before when we clicked it, so it was already true and not false as default. Now the reason why we have this is to when we click it, that it sends this to everyone else and that it's synced. So then we'll turn it back off and on, and it'll be synced as for everyone else. This is still on, off, on, and that's still off, but this is on. So that's how you do continuous variables, and we'll go ahead and get into manual. Alright, so for manual, what we'll be doing is we're going to create a number counter of how many times this object has been clicked. And I'm actually just gonna create an empty and shove everything in here because that's a lot of cube objects that I don't want to look at. We'll do a cube. We'll make them small. Make sure we can actually see them. Okay. So for this, we're going to need to create a new script because we are working with a text this time that I have not created yet, but I'll show you. Click counting. Okay, go ahead and load this up. We're going to create the text for this. Go ahead and already do that. So UI canvas. Make that world space. I'm going to downsize it because it's absolutely fucking massive. And set the XYZ to that. Still downsize it because it's proportionally way too big. Alright, that looks about the right size that I am. Oh, yeah. I literally cannot see shit, so UI image. And we're gonna expand this so we can see this thing. We'll make it black as well. Alright, there we go. Go ahead and drag this over here. Try and get it lined up. As you can see, I'm miserably failing to do this. Yeah, we'll just put it next to it. I was going to put it over it, but that works. That's not even next to it. Oh, died. Okay, make sure you grab the whole object, by the way. Don't be me and fuck things up all the time. Okay. Okay, this should be pretty obvious. You need to have a UI text on it. I don't know what else we would even want. Okay, make that white. Don't expand it. Oh, look at that. Beautiful. It's flipped around. Thank you. I'm gonna flip it all the way around. There we go. For the love of God, when you expand text, please don't do it like this. Do it like this. Because when you make it bigger in the thing, it becomes very blurry. And it just looks fucking ugly. Just increase the size text. Okay. Do 0. So now that we have that, go ahead and add the Udon behavior to this for click count. And set that to manual, because that's what we're doing. Now, we need to get a text in here. So text, public text, get count. And we need to, using Unity engine .ui, so that we have that. Okay, we got that. We got this game object. So I believe that's actually almost all that we need. We just need we don't even really need a Udon sync the variable. But it's probably best to anyways, just so nothing goes wrong. I would just create an Udon. Nope, not you, UDONSHARP. Udon synced public int. Let me make this full screen so you guys don't go crazy on me. Public int total count. So let's go ahead and set this up. Public override interact. So when a player interacts, because what request serialization basically does is you don't need to sync custom network events. which is nice. There's reasons why those are separate in this new update. Even though they've always been separate, you have the option to do it instead of having to do whatever the fuck I had to put up here, I forget. Okay, interact. What the hell are we interacting with? The game object. When we interact with this, we need to do total count up 1. Now, that will just go up 1 number. This is automatically default 0. And then pretty much this is the owner clicking it, by the way, so keep that in mind. We'll just need to do get count dot text equals total count plus that is that's an integer. Now we want to send this out to everybody. So public override on deserialization. Request serialization will activate this to all non-owners, which is someone who didn't click on it. And then since that's a synced variable already, we can just do get count dot text equals total count. Alright, so when a player joins as well, get count dot text total count synchronized, so it will be up to the latest state of this. And when a player is already in the game and it clicks, request serialization activates this, which activates for everyone else, who's not the owner, which will change the text. So we'll save that. Now, if you wanted to make it local again, get rid of this and this. Request serialization is the toolkey to networking. And so is Udon Sync. That could be nice. Let's see. What do we need to put it on this cube. We don't need to change that. I mean, you can, but that. Oh yeah, and when you sync something, make sure it always says sync right here. By the way, should have said that earlier, but I don't. I forgot. I guess. Let's make the text a little bigger. That's kind of small. I know I said not to do this, but I'm being lazy right now. I already said how to edit that earlier. We'll make this red. And then launch up. And request serialization runs when an owner's changed as well. So we're going to quickly do that just to show that does work like that and that you guys can still see the code of how I do that. Again, all you need to do is if this networking dot local or is owner. So the person who is clicking on this is the owner of the game object. Again, the game object's referencing to what this is attached to. We just need to do networking dot set owner the player, which is player will be networking dot local player, which is the player that's clicking on it, and the game object. And that will set it to the owner. So when ownership transfer happens, it will request serialization. Okay, now we come over here and now we hit it and it should change for this one and this one. Yep. So that's how that works without sending a custom network event for manual synchronization, which is very nice. Now, I am going to go over the documentation for you guys of what all the variables are about. So networking VRCHAT, because I feel like you probably have already seen this. Ownership again, ownership for manual sync. I don't know about continuous sync though. I only use ownership for manual sync. Again, for variables, you want to have them synced like they say. There's different options to slide it. What they're referring to is Udon sync network sync type. Udon sync mode. Okay. Udon sync mode dot linear. If you really wanna, you can go in the documentation yourself if you want to check that out. But usually I don't do that unless I'm using rigid body movements on update, which I could do later if you guys want me to. Basically, this just goes over. This will explain what this does. So send custom network event. This has it to all players. So when that happens, when a person is in the instance, it'll blow bubbles. For late joiners, that's when you use on deserialization. It will fire for everyone. Network object with the latest data, and they will run whatever logic you have in place. So that's why we have this, because that's our latest data to sync up stuff. And then the continuous variable we went over. This is a manual variable because we're only doing deserialization. We're not doing anything custom network events. You have the manual variable that I just showed you, custom network events that are here. That will send everyone in the instance. Object ownership. This sets. I'm not sure about the ownership request. No, I've never messed with that. Using variables. Variable sync is this. Request serialization. Again, you can only request serialization in manual. If you try to do it in continuous, it will give an error, and I don't even think it'll work. And for debugging, yeah, you can press shift plus 8, right shift, whatever the fuck that symbol is, 8. So that's pretty much how you do continuous syncing, manual syncing, and variable syncing that is manual. You can do variable syncing that is continuous, but I don't do that because I don't. And I mean, yeah, that's pretty much how you sync stuff in VRChat. It's can be kind of complicated when you first start off, so I can understand if it's confusing. If you like the video, you should probably like the video. That makes sense. And yeah, follow me on Twitter, and I'm going down bad right now. Subscribe. Poggers. All right, thank you.